What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Optimus Fantasy Football channel. I am Nate Polvogt, joined by my co-host, the one and only Kacey Kasem.
Hello.
Kacey, it's Thursday. We're a day late. We had some stuff going on yesterday. I had to go play mini golf with my kid.
I had to go play mini golf.
Had to chaperone, had to be a parent, but here we are, just ahead of the Thursday night football game. It's going to be an interesting matchup. We've got the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. The 49ers, of course, have almost no one, Kacey, which we'll get to here later in the show. We'll get to a lot of things here later in the show, folks. It is week 5 of NFL action. We've got a lot going on. Something I want to remind you all about is we have tools. We have snap analyzers, red zone analyzers, and empty air yards analyzer to tell you which one of those wide receivers is fool's gold. You can get it all now, 25% off for 4 months using the promo code OptimusFall, guys. Make sure to head over to toolsoptimusfantasy.com. The link is in the show description. Check that out. And as always, head on over to Discord. All of the fantasy football talk you could want all week long. If you've got waiver wire questions, dynasty questions, betting questions, need some DFS advice, start, sit, we have got it all right there. Kacey, are you ready for this week, do you think? And with all of the injuries...
Am I ready for this week? I mean, I guess we should just get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off after all the injuries.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Setting a lineup this week is going to be rough. And let's get to why the injury-pocalypse, as if the bye-pocalypse upcoming wasn't enough. We've got 4 teams on bye this week, so you're already missing players from those teams. And then it gets even worse. Kacey, we'll start with the 49ers because this is probably the worst situation right now as far as injuries go. Brock Purdy is out. Juwan Jennings is out. And Ricky Pearsall is out. Of course, we've already got Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle on IR. This is a very depleted offense. Yep. It's going to be hard to pivot in a lot of these situations because especially in San Francisco, next man up are Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Kendrick Bourne, which, I mean, I don't know. Do you have any interest in either of these guys as a flex, given that we're without Jennings and Pearsall?
No, unless I'm in one of those leagues where, like, they're the only players out there because your team has been decimated by injuries. Sure, there's always I guess, throw them in if you have to, but nah, I'm not in any of those leagues where I'm so desperate that I'm going to need to do that.
Yeah, I'm fortunately not either. What about Jake Tongas? Do you think there's some value to him as a fringe, maybe like tight end 2 as a flex somewhere, just because there are no other options? And we've got Mac Jones starting at quarterback, who I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to fire up, mostly because they have no choice. What about Demarcus Robinson? Any interest in him at all? I mean, we saw him when Puka and Cooper Kupp were out last season have some value in that Rams offense. Do you think he can do the same thing for the 49ers this week?
I'm not going to trust it this week, no. And it's so boom and bust anyway with trying to target who's going to be that guy. This is a week I'm just not.
Yeah, I'm staying away from the 49ers almost altogether. I am starting Mac Jones a few places. And obviously, Christian McCaffrey is a guy that you want to fire up.
Yes, for sure.
He's going to be a volume hog.
Christian McCaffrey.
Well, he's been ridiculous this season.
Just their wide receiver.
Yeah, unbelievable. Now, the next situation here, Malik Nabers, of course, tore his ACL on Sunday. He is done for the year. Brutal injury for an already kind of reeling Giants team. They lose Tyrone Tracy with the neck injury. And this is just a team that isn't playing well in general. They've got the rookie quarterback Jackson Dart now without his number 1 receiver. What do you make of this moving forward for the Giants, Kacey? Do you have any interest in Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, maybe as a fringe flex play right now?
I always have interest in Wan'Dale Robinson. Come on, I always do. But nah, it is a little bit more boosted here with the news and this. Darius Slayton. I'm intrigued with that too because he filled in nicely last year when Nabers was out. The offense. I mean, we need Dart to take a step up, like from what we were expecting. We're going to need that for this offense to really have any sort of startable guys for fantasy purposes. But like you said, bye weeks and everything, I'm going to have to start Dart this week against your wife in the Queen's Classic, where I'm 4-0 and
Well, and I think we were actually talking about Jackson Dart specifically on our way home from dropping the kid off at school this morning. And the thing with Dart is his passing upside, not great. I mean, you're hoping that you get like 1, maybe 2 touchdowns out of him every week in the passing game if you're lucky. You're not going to see a lot of games over 250 yards. But what you are going to see, 10 carries for 56 yards last week, his rushing upside is there. And this is a team that is really hamstrung at the receiving positions without Malik Nabers. They're hamstrung at running back as well. You've got Cam Scatabo, also a rookie. So I really think this offense boils down to Dart and Scatabo. And Dart's going to have a lot of rushing upside, Casey. He's someone I'm willing to start in 2 QB leagues in Superflex.
Yeah, 2 QB Superflex, then I'm there with you as well.
Yep, I just think there's so much rushing upside there. Theo Johnson, I mean, do you have any interest in him as maybe like a flex play as a tight end at all?
I mean, possibly if you're in that position. Like, I'm one of those people that in some of my leagues have a few kind of okay tight ends on my roster just to kind of like play matchups and these bye weeks really, they really get you. So, if he caught a touchdown last week, it was his first one for the season. Like, I could see Dart using him as like that little security net right there that he's going to get the ball to. If you were in that, I'm not going to say no, don't do that.
Yeah, I like Theo Johnson as kind of a fringe tight end 1 this week, just because because we're going to see a more condensed offense. I think it really comes down to in the passing game, Wan'Dale and Theo. So I do have some interest in him. I'm not super excited about it, but I'll start him some places. I've got him rostered in places that I will start him. Tyreek Hill is the next one up here. Done for this season at least. Shredded his knee, his left knee.
Man.
Yeah, it was bad. It was not pretty. You don't want to see that happen to anybody. It kind of looks like his career might be over. He had reconstructive knee surgery on Monday, but he tore basically every ligament in that knee.
It was not a fun sight to see either. I know it hurt him way worse than it hurt us, but he's over there smiling, and I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't even. Oh, that would hurt so freaking bad.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine what that felt like. That had to be absolutely miserable for him. What are we doing though now? Rest of season. I mean, obviously most of us are off of Tyreek or off of Tua. He has just been absolutely atrocious. Not even rosterable in most formats unless your league is really deep. Without Tyreek Hill, I'm even less interested in rostering him or starting him for that matter. But what are we doing with Jaylen Waddle, Malik Washington? Nick Westbrook-Akine is also in that offense. We've seen him be relevant in some situations in Tennessee last year. Are any of these guys, are you elevating them now?
I mean, I'm elevating them I'm elevating them a little with Tyreek being out. Maybe a little bit more than a little, okay? But like you said, Tua's got to be able to get it done. And I'm, with the running game and everything else, not having to throw as much. And like those guys, Jaylen Waddle was the wide receiver 1 at one point before Hill came in, right? So now he's going to go back to that role. I think right now I feel comfortable. Maybe Waddle can be in my starting lineup. Those other guys, I would maybe, if I had the room on the end of my bench to just kind of hold this week and see what happens. That's the route I'm going.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about it. I think Nick Westbrook-Akine is interesting to me because we saw him pop at points last season in Tennessee. Tua's probably a better quarterback than Will Levis. I don't know that I can say that for sure. I don't know. That said, I think this is a better situation. I think there's more opportunity for him as well. He's a fringe flex guy, and I don't think he'd be more than that in this offense, but he's someone I'm more interested in him than Malik Washington, especially because Malik Washington just seems like he's a special teams guy. So I have less interest unless you get special teams points for individual players. Then maybe he becomes more intriguing. The Cardinals next up lost Trey Benson after losing James Conner. This is really simple for me. The next guys up are Amari DiMercado and Michael Carter. Michael Carter is the running back who has seen more consistent volume and 3-down work throughout his career. If you absolutely have to go after one of these guys, Casey, I think it has to be Michael Carter, not Amari DiMercado.
Yeah, I didn't go after either of them. I did see DiMercado in some of my leagues get taken, and Carter still, I don't know. So it is one of those things where maybe everybody's feeling that same way, where they're like, I just don't really want to take a shot on either of those guys.
I've seen a mixed bag. Some people saying you have to go after Mercado. Some people saying you have to go after Michael Carter. For me, it's Carter, but also I don't want to roster either one of these guys. Unless you're in a really, really deep league and you have to go after one of these guys, there's no reason you should need to roster either one of them. The next one, and this is a big one, Kacey, Lamar Jackson could be out. We don't have official word, but it sounds like what the team is saying is he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Your boy Cooper Rush. Here we go. It's Cooper Rush season, which I'm sure people in Baltimore are absolutely thrilled with. However, if you're a fantasy manager, if you've got Zay Flowers, you've got Rashad Bateman, if you've got Mark Andrews, this has to be a downgrade for them, right?
Yeah, it's a downgrade for them. I mean, Cooper Rush, as a Cowboys fan, yes, I've seen plenty of Cooper Rush, and so welcome to the Cooper Rush era. No, but yeah, they get a little bit of a downgrade. Cooper Rush can get it done, but can he get it done and to a point where it's going to benefit your fantasy rosters? Probably not.
No, and like I've got Mark Andrews back at tight end 15 right now.
Hey.
I know, and it's on top of he just really hasn't been all that productive.
Yeah,
and I think maybe I get excited a little bit about Justice Hill a little because we've seen some of the usage. We've seen him get some like big plays the last couple of weeks. I do think he might get some usage with Rush, but I don't know that it's enough to start him. Maybe as a fringe flex over a guy like Michael Carter or Amari DeMarcado. But other than that, I don't know that he is.
Yeah.
The next one up, Cedric Tillman goes to IR in Cleveland. This is only significant because he was seeing wide receiver 1 volume with Flacco at quarterback. You would think that he probably would have retained that role with Dillon Gabriel taking over, which we'll talk about next here. Does this move the needle for you with anything in the Browns offense, one way or the other, with Tillman being on IR?
No. I'm just going to straight up say that whole offense right now is just not something that I'm too excited to be putting in my starting lineups.
Yeah, no, me either.
But
just I like
sometimes
I like Quinshon Judkins, and that's about it. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right, Kacey. Well, before we move on to our next segment, I do want to get to some of these questions we have here in the chat. The first one coming in from Twitch, Monster Dude 123123. Hey guys, quick question. Would you rather keep starting AJ Brown every week and roll with it, or switch him out for Michael Pittman? Who would have thought this would be a question, but AJ Brown has been almost non-existent. He's not even a top 40 wide receiver right now in half PPR. I honestly, and especially going up against this Denver defense this weekend, Kacey, I think I'd roll Pittman over Brown this week.
Yeah, I think I would as well. AJ's he's not it is frustrating. I get it. So when I'm that frustrated, I do like to mix it up a little bit because it's not working. Try something new.
Yeah, it's all you can really do, right? We've got Cinco de Manger. If you're not familiar, guys, head on over to Blue Sky and find the Optimus News account. She runs it, and it's fantastic. Carly is phenomenal, and she's breaking news before anybody else really on Blue Sky. So if you like your NFL news, make sure to go check out Optimus News. It's a wonderful, wonderful account. We've got K-Dog. The injury apocalypse and bye weeks have been so brutal. It's already, already very brutal. Yeah, I don't. We've talked about this in the past where we've had these runs where it was bad.
Every year we say this,
but I just feel like this is worse. Well, you've lost almost an entire part of an offense for fantasy in San Francisco,
and then having this week 5 bye week just really.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's all at the beginning, man. It's all right here at the first quarter of
Yep, I hate it. We've got Tron Force Kacey. He lost Tyreek, so his only wide receivers are DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin, who is week to week right now. Then he's got Wan'Dale Robinson, Cooper Kupp, and Travis Hunter. Would you trade CMC, McLaurin, and LCM for James Cook, Drake London, and Rashee Rice, who is coming back after week 7? Would you make this deal?
No, I mean CMC is that's the I know you lost Tyreek, me too. Wan'Dale Kupp and Hunter, can Wan'Dale Kupp and Hunter and McLaurin do enough? I wouldn't make the trade.
I don't think I want to give up CMC. I don't think there's anything you can do to make me give up CMC at this point.
Yeah, I think I'd have to reevaluate what I got going on my roster and that roster to see what kind of trade I can come up with that doesn't involve CMC. I know.
Yeah. I mean, he's seeing more volume than most wide receivers in the passing game alone. So,
yeah. And I don't know how long he can keep that up, but I want to keep riding it until I can.
Yeah, until the wheels fall off.
Yep.
We have got fantasy on YouTube. Pickens worth Keenan Allen, Matthew Golden, and Jameson Williams. I need to drop 2 players anyways, trying to get value. What do you think? I don't think I would do that. I think that's too much on the Keenan Allen, Golden, and Jameson side.
Yeah.
I
feel you on that as well.
Yep. We've got this one from the Smitty. Start one of this group, Kacey, at quarterback: Mac Jones, Spencer Rattler, Jake Browning, or Dillon Gabriel. This is where we are in week 5 of the NFL season. I would probably go Rattler for the upside. He's been surprisingly decent, and I just feel like his ceiling's higher than the other 3.
Yeah. I'm going Rattler as well. I picked him up off waivers in one league, and he's sitting on my bench, but and that's the Dart League that I'm in, so that tells you anything about the situations out there. But yeah, I'd go Rattler as well for the upside.
Yeah, I think it's Rattler, which I did not think I'd be saying at this point in the season.
But here we are, week 5.
Yeah, what can you do? We've got this one here, Dynasty. I know this isn't that show. We're an all football show.
Yeah, I like.
But okay,
yeah.
Yes, 2 quarterback leagues. Start Rattler or Cooper Rush. Rattler, hands down.
Rattler,
definitely. Yep, definitely Rattler. Well, good luck with that one. We're gonna move on though. I do think Rattler's the better start, and
it's gonna be.
It's 2 QB
12 points.
He'll be a top 24. He'll be a top 24 quarterback. I'm not worried about that. Next up, we have got Dillon in, Flacco out. The announcement was made yesterday, and our Optimus news desk broke it 17 hours ahead of everybody else that Dillon Gabriel would be starting in place of Joe Flacco. No injury. He's just old, and they want to give it over to the young guy, which makes sense. However, this team's bad. I think this is the wrong situation to move to a rookie. I think you just needed to let Flacco run it until he couldn't run it anymore. And he was still playing okay. And this isn't a team that I think anyone is under any assumption that they're good or have any chance at making the playoffs. They're going to win a couple games here and there, but I don't understand why they're making the switch now. That's neither here nor there. The switch is being made. I don't think this really affects how I feel personally about any of the wide receivers. We've got Cedric Tillman goes to IR. Jerry Jeudy is the only other viable wide receiver option in this offense. I wasn't interested in him to begin with. I'm even less interested now. Yeah. But I do think, Kacey, it bumps Quinshon Judkins quite a bit, right? Yeah. Like heavy run volume now with the rookie quarterback.
That's the only guy that you're really confident starting in that offense.
And it puts Quinshon Judkins in a place for me where I think he's a top 10 running back rest of season, and I'm firing him up no matter who they're playing because the offense really does have to run through Judkins.
Yeah, that's all. Point. That's all they got. So,
yeah. But what about Harold Fannin this week and moving forward?
Yeah, I'm fine with Harold Fannin moving forward. Maybe a security blanket is that that fun, nasty thing we like to throw around, but I mean. He's got 17 receptions, 160 yards this season. And, I mean, some tight ends aren't getting any volume. So when you got that on your roster, you're going to want to use it.
Yeah, he actually has 3 more targets than David Njoku. And Njoku's banged up heading into this week. Yeah. So I think there's a good chance that we see more of Fannin. I think we see his snap share elevated a little bit. I mean, he's been decent. He was 85% snap share last week. I think we see him ride around in that range with Gabriel. So he's someone I'm interested in starting. He's more of a fringe flex for me, I suppose. But I don't hate it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm staying away from this Browns offense. Judkins, Fannin, that's all I want. In an emergency, would you start Dillon Gabriel? There's nothing else on the wire and you need a quarterback?
Nope. An emergency. For real, though. I mean, yeah.
Cam Ward or Dillon Gabriel?
I might go Dillon Gabriel just because I've been so anti-Cam Ward, like telling people to drop him and everything. So I might just.
He's a rookie quarterback surrounded by a bad offense, and
Yeah,
he's really not super mobile. So,
yeah.
And I mean, Gabriel's not mobile either.
If I'm in that position, then I'm just going to like shoot for the moon, just hope for the best, because I'm probably not doing that great if those are my quarterbacks anyway.
Yeah, right. This is the fun thing about fantasy. You get into these situations where we're talking about what should we do with this fringe quarterback for?
Yeah.
Don't know. All right, before we head on to our next segment, Kacey, I do want to get to this question here we've got in the chat. It looks like I did miss it on our last round here. This is from the Smitty. He says his team skill players, Bijan, T. Higgins, Jameson Williams, Mason, Jordan Mason, Rashee Rice, Rome Odunze, Kyron Williams, Kyle Pitts, Cooper Kupp, Ollie Gordon. He needs a QB, and I need a wide receiver. Who should I get for Jake Browning, or should I get the best value? Yeah, I'm kind of lost on this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure I get
that. Smitty, if you could clarify that in the chat and throw it back in there, we'd be happy to answer it. Just having a hard time understanding quite what you're asking here.
Yeah, that was the last part. So
we've got this one on Twitch, Kacey. Cam Ward versus Gabriel. The answer is Cooper Rush. I don't know about that, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
The only reason I say that, and I do think Cooper Rush is a decent quarterback. My issue with it is that I don't like the offense at all. Not for throwing. They're going to run it through Derrick Henry, plain and simple. It's just going to be the Derrick Henry show in Baltimore until Lamar Jackson's healthy. Right? I mean, I don't think he has 20 attempts a game. I can't see it. Let's get to this one here, Kacey. We've got Zach1497 over on Twitch. Just traded Wan'Dale Robinson for Trey Benson. Did I lose this? I didn't know he was injured before I did it. Yeah, that's not great.
It's not great. But I mean, it's not the worst case scenario either, because it's not like he's. But at the same point, if it's not dynasty and it's redraft, then redraft.
We got this clarification here from the Smitty. He wants Jake Browning. Who should I target? Okay, so that makes sense here. I mean, realistically, what you're going to be able to get from him would be, I'd shoot for Jordan Mason and
Mason's probably
Mason and Ollie Gordon.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get one of those wide receivers. Maybe Jameson Williams. You might be able to get Jameson Williams and one of those running backs. It's probably what I would look at.
Yeah.
Seem fair?
That seems fair.
Yep. I think you could make a trade for that here. All righty. We're going to move. Well, I guess he says we've got a second part to that question. I will filter through here. We've got Zach1497, Darnold over Knicks. Are you doing Darnold over Knicks, Kacey?
God, I do like this. Our friend said earlier about, is this a 2 quarterback or is this a 1 quarterback league? No. Think I'm going to go Knicks. I'm going Knicks.
I'm going Darnold.
Okay.
I'm going Darnold over Knicks only because Denver's playing Philly, and I don't like that part. Here's the other part of that here. Sorry, Smitty, you came in parts. There was stuff in between here.
Real fast.
So his skill position players are Henderson, Monty, Rashad White, Woody Marks, Juwan Jennings, Kayvontae Turpin, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Juwan Johnson, George Kittle. I would say he wants Browning. Go Browning and Rashad White, because Bucky Irving's banged up, so I think people are a little excited about Rashad White, even though they shouldn't be.
I was about to say, are they?
Right? There are some people that think he's going to see a bump, and he will for a couple weeks. This would be a good time to move him. I would move Rashad White and Browning for... in that situation, I think you could get T. Higgins, but I don't think I want T. Higgins.
Yeah, if you're trying to get T. Higgins, I also don't want T. Higgins on my roster.
Jameson Williams, I'm still going after Jameson
Williams is probably the guy that I'd go after there as well.
I don't think you can get maybe Rashee Rice. Maybe Rashee Rice if they like Rashad White enough. If you're willing to move, maybe Nico, that might help as well. I just worry about that offense in Houston.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, one more from Zach 1497. Then we're going to get on to our next segment, Casey. Olave over Jamar Chase this week? Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
It's not pretty, but
no, it's not.
I have Jamar Chase out of my top 12 this week.
Yeah. Who knew? It's not, man, week 5 is just
it's brutal.
Coming at us.
Speaking of it, panic meter, Casey, because we've got some players that we talked about a few earlier. AJ Brown being one of them. I don't have him in this segment because we all know he's vastly underperforming. But I want to run through a few other players here and kind of see where you're at on these. The first one we're going to talk about is CJ Stroud right now. Casey, he's QB 22. I think most of our expectations really were he was going to be a fringe QB1 this season. He's a fringe QB2. Yeah. Are you panicked or is this going to ride itself in Houston?
Panicked. I am a little panicked. Yes, I am still riding that low level panic. I have the panic there. I think we're getting to a point where we can kind of start being like, okay, this might be what we're just going to see the rest of the season. I think he's going to be matchup dependent. Maybe he can get it right against the Ravens. They're allowing fantasy points to the quarterback position. Yep. So, yeah, I think he's going to be that guy.
This is who CJ Stroud is. Bad line. They're really not as deep at wide receivers. I think some people thought they were with Christian Kirk. No Tank Dell. I'm just not excited about Stroud this season. If they can beef up that line next year, I like him a little bit more long-term, but rest of season, I mean, he really is just going to be a fringe QB2. He's borderline. You can borderline bench him, I think, in 2 QB leagues, even at this point. Trevor Lawrence, another one, QB 25. The number 1 overall pick back in 2021 has not performed as such. Are you worried about this with him long-term? Is this just who he is? Is he a back-end QB2?
I think that's just who we're going to have to see him as now.
Unfortunately, I have been low on Trevor Lawrence basically since he was drafted. Thought he was overhyped. I think I was right. And he's got an offense that should be explosive enough that he should be playing better, and he's just not. You see a lack of field awareness. He doesn't seem like he's reading defenses well. He's making poor decisions on the field. I think we've just lost him at this point. If I've got him, I'm moving him in Dynasty. In redraft, I would really like to get rid of him on any team I have him as well.
But I move him in Dynasty. You say that, I really have to move him in Dynasty.
Yeah, and that's going to be the hard part, is finding someone who believes that maybe Liam Cohen can flip this around in year 2 of him in the system. So let's move on to some running backs, Casey. Breece Hall, RB 25 right now. Justin Fields is back. He's taking away some of that rushing upside from Breece Hall, it appears. It didn't happen week 1, but it's happened since. Are you worried about this, or is he going to come back around and still be a fringe running back 1 the rest of the season?
I'm not extremely worried. I'm a little worried. I think that, this is going to be a game where I think he can at least get it around when he's taking on the Cowboys. And then, I really have faith that he can get that, Braylon Allen's going to be out or got banged up. Yeah. Knee injury there. I still have to have faith that he is an integral part of that offense and that it'll come around.
Well, I think if you look at the matchups they've got coming up, Dallas, Denver, Carolina, all at home. Then they have to go to Cincinnati before the bye in week 9. And really, those are good matchups for him to get right. And I think we'll see more volume out of him. There's no way that he's going to be a 9 to 10 carry guy. It's just not. This offense won't run. No. So that'll beef up. I'm not worried about Breece Hall. Chase Brown, though, RB 32. I'm I'm not panicked because I don't have any shares of Chase Brown because I refuse to draft him this season.
I think that's how I'm feeling too.
Well, and we've heard a lot of they have to lean into the run game. They did that, and he's still been awful. He's sub 2 yards per carry at points. Bad offensive line in Cincinnati.
Blown out,
and I think he's just an average running back at this point. Back end RB3 at the most.
Yeah, I'm beyond panicked.
No. I want to throw up this one, not on our list because I feel like it has been talked about a bit, but I do want to talk about this panic meter for Brian Thomas Jr. Along with Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
This is a problem.
Yeah.
This is a real problem. He's
1-2 punch of a problem right there.
1-2 punch of a problem. This offense is bad. It's hurting everyone else in it. Yep. I think one of the things that is an issue, because Brian Thomas Jr. is wide receiver 40 right now. I think one of the things where we're seeing an issue with this too is Travis Hunter's development. I don't know that he's going to develop as a wide receiver like we all wanted because of Trevor Lawrence. They need to get a new quarterback in there. I've seen some weird ideas as to where just trade him to Cincinnati. I mean, the trade deadline's coming. I don't think that's something that's going to happen. Maybe we see like a Russ Wilson end up over there. I'd rather have Jake Browning if it was me. Now here's another one, Kacey. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver 26 right now. This guy was supposed to be an elite talent. He is proving to be having a hard time, one, catching the ball because he keeps trying to catch it with his body, making these stupid drops. And two, he's just not seeing a ton of volume, and he's not efficient with the volume he does get, I think, because he's in a bad offense. Is there any hope for Marvin Harrison Jr., at least the rest of this season?
I mean, is there a hope for him? Sure, but we saw last year, it's more of the same kind of stuff. This year, I'm not seeing it change too much. I'm one of those people that didn't draft any Marvin Harrison, so maybe I'm not panicking because I also don't have any shares of Marvin Harrison. But yeah, he is the main wide receiver target in that offense. You got Trey McBride there. That's Trey McBride. He's really the wide receiver dude. So I think you're going to get more of the same.
Yeah, I don't see this changing anytime soon. As long as Kyler Murray's the quarterback, I think this is what Marvin Harrison Jr. is. Trey McBride's always going to see the lion's share of the targets in that offense. It's just the way it is. So Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm uninterested in him. I'm not acquiring him in Dynasty. I'm trying to move off of him because I think he really does just live as a back end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3, flex option in more shallow leagues, in like 8 and 10 team leagues. He's an occasional flex play at this point. Yeah. You're just not getting anything more than that from him. What about DJ Moore, Kacey? He was supposed to be the wide receiver 1 in Chicago. That's now Rome Odunze, very clearly. DJ Moore's wide receiver 41.
I'm pretty much off of the DJ Moore train now. That whole, the offense, you kind of know who's fantasy relevant, who's not, and DJ Moore is just not going to be that guy.
Yeah, I think it's more than panic at this point. Yeah. I'm trying to move off of DJ Moore. Unfortunately, I mean, he seemed like a value for what we thought he was going to be in the offense. So I did have a fair amount of him on my roster.
Yeah.
I don't know. Barely Fantasy in the chat saying Rome Odunze was inevitable when he was drafted with Caleb last year. And I completely agree. I knew that this was going to happen eventually. I figured it was going to be a slow burn this season to Rome Odunze, and then year 3 of Odunze and Williams was going to be when we saw this level of volume. But we got it early. Sam LaPorta, Kacey, this is one of the more concerning ones, and this is where I'm hitting the panic button big time. Guy who is being drafted as a top 3 to 5 tight end is tight end 16 in a very good offense. So that's not the problem. It's just simply that there isn't enough to go around for LaPorta. His rookie breakout was great, but this is year 2 of the declining volume. I am panicked. Panicked that this isn't going to turn around, and he's not even going to be a fringe tight end 1, that we're looking at a mid-tier tight end 2 at this point with LaPorta.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the mid-tier tight end 2. He 4 targets at least a game, so you're going to get some volume from him. But when it comes to tight ends, like I think I panic on them the most because it's so like once they're not being used, they're not being used. Like they don't have the spike weeks aren't. I don't know, not my favorite.
Well, and especially in an offense like this where there is volume to be had, and he's seen it before. Yeah. But he's not getting red zone targets. He doesn't have a touchdown. That's concerning. He's still on the field 90+% of snaps. It's just not productive volume for fantasy. And the thing is there's no reason for it to change.
Right.
At all. They're winning. They're playing really well.
Working and
yeah.
They don't care about your fantasy rosters, so.
They do not care about your fantasy rosters. Another team that does not care about your fantasy roster, the Minnesota Vikings tight end TJ Hawkinson. This is another guy we were drafting as a top 5 tight end. He is currently tight end 18. Kacey, I'm also hitting the panic button here because this offense is not good with the quarterbacks they have available.
Yeah, it's not that is very accurate. Gives me a little more hope is, maybe the second half of the season opens up a little bit for tight ends, but I'm not. I mean, you're not going to feel comfortable putting him in your lineup every week, but you're going to feel like you need to because it's TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, I'm still starting him right now.
Right.
Same thing with Sam LaPorta. I'm still starting him.
It's just you got to temper your expectations.
At what point do we stop starting them, though?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, especially this year I don't feel like at the tight end positions is as annoying as it has been for me in the past. But, I mean, I don't know. It depends on who's out there on your waivers, really, because in most leagues, I didn't go into it drafting a whole bunch of tight ends, but now I have a collection of them on my bench. So, just depends on what's out there. But, I don't know. Maybe a few more games.
See, I think I'm giving it until week 8. Get to about that midway point of the season.
I gotta check when bye weeks are for everybody, and kind of.
Yeah, well, there's that part of it. There is that part.
Am I going to be forced to do certain things?
Well, we're going to be forced to do lots of certain things. Like every season, these injuries continue to pile up. There's nothing you can do about it. Before we move on to our next segment, Kacey, we do have a couple of things in the chat I want to get to here. Zach1497 over on Twitch. Do we think Cincinnati will get someone to replace Jake Browning? Do you think they'll make a move before the trade deadline, Kacey?
No, I don't know. Honestly, they better, but I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either. It doesn't make sense. This is a dead season.
What it is, yeah. Now.
Yeah, it is what it is now. This one from Big Lacono over on YouTube, Kacey. What are our thoughts on Breece Hall? Kacey, what are your thoughts on Breece Hall rest of season?
Yeah, I'm not too worried. We talked about him a little bit earlier, but yeah, I'm not. He's not going to be. I'm not saying I'm expecting him to be the top dog every week. He's not going to be a top guy, but I'm still have faith in him to get me running back 1 numbers when the season's said and done.
I think so too. At some point they have to start featuring, like we were saying, they have to get back to giving him volume. He can't be a 9, 10, 11 carry guy. We need to see that 19 carry performance. And I think, I mean, it is encouraging that he had 6 targets the last 2 weeks, so he's getting more involvement in the passing game. We just need to see that be consistent and productive for fantasy. On with the
Cowboys. I mean, that could be the spark he needs.
It could be. It very well could be. We got Cinco de Major in the chat over on Twitch also. In reference to Sam LaPorta, he gets Cincinnati this week, which should help. It really should help. And LaPorta owners will be happy to fire him up this week.
Yeah, they give up points, so yeah.
All right, everyone, we're going to get to our last 2 segments here and then get you on your way for your Thursdays. First off is best and worst of week 5, the matchups we're actually looking forward to and the ones we just don't want to watch. Kacey, the first one, the least worst of the week. We agree on this one. Minnesota Vikings, technically at the Cleveland Browns. This is the London game, so we're 6:30 on the Pacific Coast. It is 9:30 on the East Coast. I don't care about this game in any fashion. I don't care if JJ McCarthy starts. I don't care if Carson Wentz starts. I don't care if Dillon Gabriel or Joe Flacco start. These are two of the most uninteresting teams in football right now, and I have zero desire to watch this game.
Yes, agreed. And, last week I was talking about how least because it was, to get up early and do all that jazz. And that was why it was the least. But I really wish I would have gotten up early. If you were a Jaylen Warren manager, you probably wished you were up early because, whoops, I forgot to take him out of the dynasty lineup. Anyhow, yeah, I feel you on the Minnesota and Cleveland. I'm just not I was like, I want to be different than Nate. But when I looked, I was like, nah, I'll save that for the most.
I don't know why anyone would watch this game unless you're a Vikings fan or a Browns fan. Even if you're a Browns fan, I wouldn't want to watch this game. Just seems all bad. Now, for our best exciting game of the week, Kacey, yours. Let's start with yours first. You've got Kansas City at Jacksonville on Monday Night Football.
I do. I wanted to go with the one that you selected. That was the first one that I actually was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, I want to be different. Plus, Monday Night Football for me has been very exciting the last few weeks because, a lot of my lineups needed a guy to go off, and they have. So it's been exciting. At the same time, having a few lineups where you're watching, the other person's defense, start slowly getting 11, 10, 12, 14, 10. 14. And I love that. I love that end just biting your fingernails situation. Yeah. So it's more for me than it is just watching the plays on the field. It's more for fantasy football purposes. I look forward to that.
Well, this game is probably more evenly matched than you would have expected looking at this on the schedule to start the season. So I think I think it'll be a good game. I didn't pick that one though, Kacey. I picked the Tampa Bay Seattle game. Right. This has shootout written all over it. Baker Mayfield's one of my favorite players in the entire league. I root for Sam Darnold because he's kind of that underdog. Yeah. His time with the Jets was awful, and I've always felt bad for him for that. So I like to see him succeed when he can. How long it lasts, who knows? But I think this will be a fun game. I think it's going to be a lot of passing, might be kind of high scoring. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. All right, on the spot, Kacey.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts over/under on passing yards is set at $190 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Plus 109 to take the over. Are you taking it? Or are you taking the under?
190 passing yards. I'm going to take the over.
I'm taking the under.
Okay.
They're playing Denver. He didn't have a single passing yard in the second half last week. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver could hold this team to under 150 yards passing, maybe under 250 yards total offense, just because Philly's offense is just not doing anything right now. They are winning so ugly.
Yes, they are.
And to be fair, I still think they win this game.
I do think that's going to be on this. It's very close for me because I'm like, I can see them giving up just a little, just enough, but.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I want Denver to win, obviously.
I know you do. I would like that as well as a Cowboys fan. So I will be with you cheering on.
Let's go Broncos. We've got this on Twitch. This is from KitKat Camo 6. Should I trade Jaylen Waddle for Javonte Williams? Kacey, would you make that trade?
It depends on what my roster looks like, but I think I would make that trade.
If I need a running back and I'm not worried about my depth at wide receiver, 100% I'd make that trade. Javonte has a higher ceiling overall, in my opinion. Now we've got our news manager letting us all know, folks, Lamar Jackson did not participate again at practice today. So it does really look like it's going to be Cooper Rush. Let's just hope this isn't an extended absence for Jackson, because that would be brutal that would end a lot of teams, fantasy team seasons. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Let's hope it doesn't happen.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen. Well, guys, it was a pleasure having you all on today. I just want to remind you, if you've got more questions, you're watching the replay to this show, or you're listening to the audio version, head on over to Discord. The link is right here in the graphic. It is also in the show description and show notes on your podcast platform. waiver wire advice, dynasty discussions, NFL bet advice, DFS advice, start sits, and a lot more over on Discord. We love to help y'all win. And then head over to tools.optimusfantasy.com. Check out all those advanced data tools. It'll help you make the right decisions on Sundays for your lineups. Unlock your fantasy advantage with 25% off your first 4 months. Use the promo code OptimusFall. And I think that's all we've got for you, folks. Make sure you check that out. Optimus Fall is the code. Good luck this week. Go out there and win. We'll be back Friday with Friday Vibes.
May all of your players stay on the field and not get injured this weekend and Monday.
Yep. Just so everyone knows, Lou will be in Discord before the early Sunday game if anyone needs some start-sit advice as well. Wonderful. And then we've got Barely Fantasy in the chat as well. Hey, viewers, you see that banner at the top? Subscribe to the Optimus Fantasy tools. Use that promo code listed. Seriously, guys, they're snap analyzers, red zone tools. You can see who is getting the volume and who is efficient with it, who isn't. Help you set those lineups. Help you set your DFS lineups. It's just a lot of data and a lot of awesomeness. We have a betting optimizer coming hopefully by the end of the week for you to check out. And if you sign up for the Gold Jacket package, you get that locked in through the end of 2025 at no additional cost. Enough talking about our tools, Kacey. This has been so much fun. Thanks for always joining me on this show. We'll be back next week on Wednesday. Until then, you can find us Friday with the Vibes Show, Start, Sit, Waiver Wire, whatever questions you have heading into the weekend. Keith Fleming and I will be there to answer. Until then, folks, happy Thursday. We'll see you next week.